I'm excited.
Me too. I'm excited too. Yuk'eya yuq satini. Kunalchich hadi hadi tlakadiwan. Achtu yuk'eyiyat akhwalqini. Ya yagita. Nask yagi aya ya yagi. Dis Tlein yudu wasak ya dis. Jinkat katlay shuya wachi. It's good to see you guys. I feel so good to see your faces every week. I'm glad we can study together again today. Thanks for coming. It's the third day of the week, Wednesday, Naskiagi. And the name of this month is Tlein for Big Moon. 16 days have passed this month. Jinkat Katledu Shuyawachi. I wanted to share with you guys. So I mentioned to Carrie that I've been a little tired just because I've been traveling and starting to catch up on rest. So that's good. But I've had some speaking opportunities. And the first, as I mentioned last week, was the Native Language Summit hosted by the White House Initiative on Educational Equity. That was good. And then I came back home to Alaska and presented at the Elders and Youth Conference on Monday with the UAA language teachers. So now that I'm up in Anchorage, closer to my family, uh, I've been working with our local elder, Shaksanikik, Shirley Kendall, and she recommended me for a language teaching job at UAA. So at UAA, I teach Tlingit. We also offer Atna, Yuhtun, um, and I think some more classes are soon to come. But the language teachers and I all presented together, and these were our attendees. So I felt it was successful. They were pretty tired because it was the end of a long conference day, and they still participated and had a lot to share. So hopefully planted some seeds for the future college students to enroll in our programs.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
For that conference, was there anyone from the Yukon who attended, or was it just for Alaska people?
Um, it's a statewide gathering, so invitations go out to all Alaska regions. But I don't know if anyone from the Yukon attended this one. Be great if they did.
I mean, I was just curious because I know for the Tlingit, there we are connected with the people of Alaska as well,
Yeah.
and that's why I was just curious.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, due to the colonial border, we have different organizations, different funding sources, and as much as we can, let's continue to try to push through that barrier to work together because we didn't draw those lines. We talked about some foods last week, and since I only have you guys one day a week, I want to review the vocab and just keep building on it. So we'll do pronunciation and start to memorize these. These are, first one is repeat after me, tahini.
Tahini. Tahini.
Okay. Utchi.
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 Atrishi.
Atkishi. Atkishi.
Atrishi.
Atkishi.
Oh, question.
Yeah, go ahead.
For when you said dried fish, what is the translation if you have smoked fish? Is it the same?
let's talk about those afterwards because there's a couple different ways of smoking fish and they'll have different names.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Ah. Next one, tle- next one is Tlein.
Cleo.
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 So I'm gonna mute you. It's not personal, but there's a lot of background noise. Next one, you guys go ahead without me saying it. Say it on your own. Ready, go.
Tahini.
Tahini.
Tahini. Utlich.
Ut-
Utlich.
Utlich.
Let's do a breakdown of this one. The first three letters are gonna sound really gentle and soft. So repeat after me. Ut
Ut.
and ut.
Ut.
Yeah, that sounds good. With the voiceless L, the Tlinga L, really relax your cheeks right here. So let's do it again. Ut.
Utlich.
Chi.
He.
Good.
Clay.
The whole word.
Utlich.
Utchi.
He.
Good, perfect.
Utlich.
Ah. Next one, go.
At
Easy.
Ichsi.
Hey,
Clay.
Cleo.
Tahini.
Tahini.
Utlich. Utlich.
Ut.
At
Easy.
Ishi.
At At
Cleo.
Clayco.
Cleo.
Tahini. Utchi.
He.
Utli.
Ishi.
Ishi.
Ishi. Oh, at he. She. At he. She.
Cleo.
repeat after me. Tleoch ach id uaha.
Cleo. Uaha.
Tahini ach id uaha.
Tahini. Itwaha.
Uaha.
Utchi ach id uaha.
Utli. Uaha.
Atchishi ach id uaha.
Ishi. Uaha.
Good. Ach tu klikayikach klikatiuhan. Yeah. I feel proud of you guys. This was really good. Are there any questions?
I like the repetition of it all. And that we just keep going on and on, like, so that we're familiar and that we recognize the words and the sounds.
Good. Awesome.
Plus the pictures help.
Good. Okay. I'll keep using them. So back into our video study, we'll do some review and then I have new lines for you guys. This first slide, I'll play the video. It's at 75% speed and it's only going to show you, it'll cut off after the first line, and then we'll break down each word of what we saw. Here we go.
Hiya he na he ya na he ya hiya he na he ya na he ya Chakaya chak takatya singet anika yeiti hin awe et hini husiti Yeyesh kwa aushiyach ya akusani kya khat hini takanadai hinkan.
Okay, that was short, but we're going to look at all the words that we just saw and heard. So for our review, repeat after me, please. Eight.
Eight.
Good. The pinched L, I don't know if you guys heard it, but the narrator in this video, Nakishan, is so good at his pinched L's. And the way my elder mentor describes it to me is she's like, I want to hear the bubbles come out of the side of your mouth when you do it. So it's a voiceless L. What really helps is relaxing your cheeks right here. If they're too tight, then it sounds too like, but I'm still learning as well. So let's practice together. Repeat after me. Eight.
Eight.
Again. Eight.
Eight.
Good. This means ocean. It also means salt, or salt water. Yeah. And if you want to be specific to ocean or salt water, you add the word for water, which is heen. So repeat after me. Eight heeny.
Eight.
Ini.
Ini.
And as we mentioned, if you look in the breakdown, you have eight, which is ocean or salt, and then heen, which is water. And this this short I that you add to the end of heen, just lets you know that you're connecting water to salt, so that it belongs to this. It's half of an idea, salt water. It's not just water on its own. Yeah, Hannah, you have a question?
With the eighth he, ni, do we change our tone of voice going up or down at any of the letters?
Yeah, thank you for asking. The accent marks above the vowels mark a high tone. So in the dialect of Tlingit I teach, there are two tones, high tone and low tone. If it's high tone, you go up in your tone. If it's low tone, you just stay flat. So let's do each word. Repeat after me. Eight.
Eight.
And then the second word, heeny.
Ini.
So in the first word, it's a double vowel, meaning that just makes it long. And the accent mark is only put above the first letter. So if you see high tone E, I, then that whole sound A is high. Same thing with heeny. There are two E's here. It's only marked above the first E, but the whole vowel, the long vowel, is high. And then I could hear you guys when you said heeny, your tongue goes up, down. And that's the right way to say this because it's high tone, low tone. So let's do it again. Repeat after me. Eight, heeny. Good. Translation review. I'm going to have you guys repeat after me so that we practice reading. So first line, repeat after me. Chakwaya, chak.
Aya.
Aya. Au.
Then we'll do just a few words at a time. So repeat after me. Stakatya singitani.
Katja Slinget Ani.
Ka ye yeti hin.
Yatini Hin.
Yahini.
Awe eight.
Awe
Awe Eight.
Awa ich.
Hinechusiti.
Hine
Husiti.
Chakwaya chakw.
How
Takatya singitani.
Katja Slinget Ani.
Ka ye yeti hin.
Yatini Hin.
Awe eight. Hinechusiti.
Awe
Awe
Husiti.
Husiti.
Yayeshkwa.
Ayesh.
Au theyech ya a.
Auliech ya.
Au sani.
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 Kaya khatini.
Yahatini.
Ini.
Kakanadai hinklen.
Kanadai Hinkling.
Some of these words we have not studied yet, so I prepared some slides for us to look at their meanings. But reading wise, you guys sound awesome. So for review, repeat after me. Yeah
Yeah.
Yeah.
means this or right here. Yesh.
Yes.
Ye.
Kwa.
Wa.
Kwa is shortened for ku'a, which many of you may have heard in conversations. Wa'e meaning and you. It can be shortened as it is in this story to kwa. It just it brings attention to a new subject. So when we say yayel kwa, we're saying this raven, however, or however you would translate it to English, we're bringing attention to this character in the story. Repeat after me. Auliech.
Auliech.
Again. Good. Again. Auliech.
Auliech.
So we're talking about raven building something. So the first word ya is this. What does yesh mean?
Raven.
Raven, good. And then kwa brings attention to them. And then auliech is they built it. So from the top, repeat after me. Chakwaya chakw. Takatya singitani.
Ani.
Kayeyati hin.
Hayati
Hin.
Awa eight hinechusiti.
Husiti.
Nice. Yayel kwa.
Yayesh.
Au theyech ya a.
Auliech.
Au sani.
Sani.
Kayakhatini.
Kayakhatini.
Kakanadayi hintlen.
Kanadayi hintling.
Words, repeat after me. Ah. Sani.
Sani.
Awesome. So we have the first line, repeat after me. Yayish kwa outliech.
Yayish
Aulia.
And then let's do the next two. Ya ah.
Yeah.
Sani.
Sani.
So a translation of the phrases. Yayish kwa outliech. This raven, however, built it. This lake, and then they add little lakes. So as for this raven, he built this lake, little lakes. This is the first half of a sentence. And for repetition, repeat the whole part after me. Yayish kwa ya'a sani.
Yayish Sani.
I'm missing the word outliech, but I built it, so let's look at the next one. Okay, this is a game.
Oh, dear.
Scramble. Don't panic. I meant for this to be challenging and new. It doesn't affect your grade. Which piece goes in the first line?
Yayish
Kayeku.
Good. So I'm going to drag it over. And line 2.
Kaya akini. Yeah. Yikua Alexiaha.
Oh, yeah. So repeat after me. Ausliech ya'a. So first line, repeat after me. Yayish kwa. Ausliech ya'a. And what goes in line 3?
Kaya
Kayakhatini.
Guess. Any other guesses?
Sani.
Good. How did
Oh,
you
I
guys
got it now.
Yeah, how did you guys realize it was Akusani?
Visualization for me.
Nice.
Al-Kasani. Talking about lake and little lake.
Good. Visualization. So one of you just visualized the words as they appeared. Another one of you said, oh, yeah, they're talking about lakes. And then they add another line about little lakes. So what goes next?
Kaya
Khatini.
Khatini.
Kaya Hatini.
Repeat after me, starting with line 3. Akusani.
Sani.
Kaya khatini.
Kaya
Kayakhatini.
Next one, repeat after me. Kakanadayi hinlan.
Kakana.
So you guys were able to memorize and piece together the sentence, even though we haven't gone over lines 4 and 5 yet, just because of your memories. So that's awesome. let's talk about the next lines. Again, repeat after me. Kayakhatini.
Haya.
Kayahatini.
Mhm. So this phrase, repeat after me. Khatini.
Hatini.
Good. This is a river or stream. Khat, as we see in our breakdown, is salmon or fish. And then hini is river or water. And just like we did with eight, hini, we add the I at the end of heen to connect it to fish. So we're saying this is a salmon stream or a salmon river. Just like when we say eight hini, we're saying salt water. And I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Oh, I felt the bubbles on my pinched L. Nice. That's awesome. There's a lot of comments in the chats. If I miss any questions, don't be shy. Does my volume sound okay to you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm seeing
Yeah.
one no and
It's
some
okay.
yeses.
Okay to me.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Could you please just help me with the X at the end of the word XW
Ah,
versus KW, the different sounds those make?
of course, yeah. So let's do this pinched X first. This X is not underlined, so it's in the top of your mouth. And then you snap your teeth on it to make it sharper sounding. And so you're basically squeezing out the air, ejecting the air out of your mouth only. So repeat after me. Tlein. Good. Some of you are achieving it. Some just need a little help. So it shouldn't sound like a K. When you make a K sound, you close the gap all the way between the tongue and the roof of your mouth. K. It's a sharp sound. An X is you're closing, you're making a gap and squeezing the air through that area, but not quite all the way. So there's friction. You can hear friction, but it's not closed all the way. And so that's the difference. When you pinch it, you make the air come out faster and it does sound snappier, but it's not quite a K.
Okay.
Yeah. So if this is new to you, we'll be doing a lot of review. Don't worry. These sounds take a long time to achieve. And we all move at our own paces, so don't worry about it. But let's do it again. Repeat after me. Tlein. Yeah. Again. Tlein.
Clang.
There. I'm hearing it now where it's pinched, but it's not quite closed like a K. Does that help?
Yes, so much. Thank you.
So let's talk about the KW, which you also mentioned. And we have one. Let's do the rounded one. Now in Akusani, we have a pinched X as well, but this time it's followed by a W. This just means it's rounded. In other words, you need to round your lips when you breathe out that pinched K sound. And it makes a very different sound from if you don't. So let's do again for comparison. Repeat after me. Tlein. Yeah.
Thank-
Now watch my mouth when I say this word and repeat it after me. Yep. The way the air comes out because your lips are rounded sounds different, and you guys sound good. So let's do it again. Repeat after me. Tlein. Yeah. And then good. Good. You guys sound really good. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I was it I think it works on this phrase too, but I was first thinking of it's like the second phrase on I really like the start, and maybe we could look at that one really quick.
Of course.
Oh yeah,
So,
it is just uh is are you starting to round like the ah? Like do you find yourself like trending into the W in that vowel? Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I try to only round when I start making a K. I'm trying to think if Shirley has told me about it. I know she mentions if people don't round the K, it sounds odd and it's confusing. But as far as like putting the roundedness up here, I don't think I do. I think I round it only as I make the K. Instead of saying chowk, you would say chak. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's practice these. Repeat after me. Chak.
Chak.
Good. And then let's say the whole first three words. Chakwaya. Chak. You sound good. Good question. What other questions do you guys have?
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm recognizing how to pronounce these words
Nice.
just by looking at them, and that's kind of gratifying.
Yeah.
But is it okay that I don't know what the words are, what they mean? I'm not relating to what it's saying, except for a couple, words.
Yeah. Okay. That's good feedback because I do translations, but maybe I'm hearing we need to have a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, we can add more translations. Thank you for your feedback.
Anna, I have a question.
Yeah.
So for the high tones, so like for water, heen, do both the E's stay high tone or does it kind of come down a little bit on that second E?
It should be the whole vowel should be long and high. Heen. If you speak in the southern dialects, you'll use a falling and rising tone, and it adds a really beautiful melody to the language. And you can still understand it, but it's different. But
Okay, because I've heard it both ways.
Okay, good. Yeah, you
So I
might have.
was just wondering how that works.
Yeah. So in the northwest coast, or not the northern coastal dialect of Tlingit, which is what I teach, it's spoken in the Juneau area, coastal area. There are only two tones, which means this high tone above the first E is high tone for the whole E. If you get into the southern dialects like the Sanya Kwan and Henya Kwan, then you'll have falling and rising tones and they'll be marked separately.
Lichéesh.
Good questions.
So when you say this, the southern parts, what does that include? Are we just talking about Alaska, or does it go like into southern Yukon and stuff?
Oh, that's a good question. Because the interior Tlingit people have a dialect as well, but I'm not versed in the dialect differences with the tones. But I'll show you a quick map.
feel like the interior is very close to the southern Alaskan.
Oh, Lichéesh. Yeah,
So
Kajisaka is from
will be the
Yukon.
Tagish Kwan,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly from last.
Yeah. Yeah, so the dialects, one way if you're starting to be curious about where are the different dialects of Tlingit spoken, this is a map in the beginning Tlingit workbook, and it has the Tanta or the area, Tongass forest area, Ichki, which means downriver, and also southern, which include the Sanya and Henya Kwan, Adagiga, and Naki. Naki is upriver or northern. And you have some overlap between the areas, but Dakka is the interior, Tlein, Tlein, Natasahini. And then there's Gli and Eitka. So looking at the color coded map, we have Naki, which is northern, all these areas. Akukwan around the Juneau area, Akukwan, Hutsnawu, Hunakwan, Jitka. And then the southern areas, Ichki, are Sanyakwan, Hinyakwan, Tukchikankwan. And this is the area where you start to have different tones. Dialects are so interesting. I only know so much about them. Other good people to talk to are Jeff Lear, James Crippen, Lance Twitchell. These guys all have like good information. Yeah.
So, with all of these different dialects, is there one, like, say someone is coming from, say, the Sanyakwan and they're going up north, and they're going through all these different dialects, but if they wanted to speak to someone and they're all like, it's all Tlingit, is there a formal language? Is there a one where everyone can understand while they're traveling, or do they just kind of have to figure things out?
They can understand each other. That's what makes them dialects versus languages. So like if we talked about my family's language of Koyukon and the native language of Tlingit, our languages, our people wouldn't understand each other just speaking in our languages. When you get to dialects, what makes them dialects is that they're mutually comprehensible, meaning they both can speak their different dialects to each other and still understand. The same way that people from Alaska speaking English understand people from Texas speaking English. Yeah. Good questions.
So everyone will still be able to understand one another, regardless of where they're from in the Tlingit, Alaska, Yukon, coastal northern BC. They'll all be able to understand one another generally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Good questions. So let's talk about meanings. And we're on this line. Kayakhatini.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Khatini, as we mentioned, is salmon river, salmon stream. And then we have this phrase. So let's start with the last two words. Repeat after me. Hintlen. Good. Your guys' pinched X's sound so good. That's good. And the first two words. The first word means and it's an underlined K, so it'll be pronounced in the back of your throat. Repeat after me. Ka.
Ka.
Next word. Kanadai, or sorry, Kanadai.
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 Good. And then
Sounds
say,
like Canada.
yeah. And then say Hinklen.
Hinkling.
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 So let's look at a breakdown of these words. Kanadai. Hin is river, stream, creek. And then we look in our breakdown. For people who are breaking down verbs, the square root symbol tells you that what comes after it is the core meaning or the verb root. If we look at the English equivalent, the da correlates with flow. So we have flow, water or river. The translation in English is river, stream, or creek. But this word kanadai, hin, lets us know that it's a flowing river, not to be confused with standstill water.
Question.
So
What does it mean by horizontal?
Okay, good question. This we're gonna start to look into the different elements of verbs together when we break down this verb. So kanadai is a verb, but it's being used to describe water. So what kind of water? Water that's
A river,
flowing.
stream, or a creek.
Yeah. And the kanadai, the flowing, comes from the verb to flow. But Tlingit makes use of a lot of different prefixes to add specific meaning to the core word, which is to flow. So we have ka, na, and ya. Kanadai.
Kanadai.
Yeah. And the first prefix, ka, is, I want to say it's the thematic prefix. I'm not great at the linguistic terms, but I can tell you that this ka generally means something related to being on top of a horizontal surface. So when you think about a river, it's flowing over the land, and the land is the horizontal surface. The river's flowing over it. And that's the connection that I would use to memorize kanadai hin.
What is a waterfall then?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. But you should look it up and
Oh,
we can talk about it. This is how
I'll do my best. Oh my
I'm giving you homework. This is how I became a language person. I would ask my mom, "What's that mean?" She'd say, "Look it up." That with all love in my heart. So let's talk about this next word. We had kanadaihin, and then they say tlen. So let's talk about this word. Repeat after me. Tlen.
And
Clang.
It kind of sounds like this other word. Repeat this after me. Tlein.
clang.
Clang.
Good. And they both mean large or big. They both have hyphens before them because they need to be attached to the thing that they're talking about. So the thing that's big. In our case, we say kanadaihin tlenk, and we're talking about the river. And when you add tlenk, we're saying big river. Any questions?
So the difference between the two is just one's plural?
I don't know. That's a good question. I actually don't know. I'll look into it. Thank you for asking.
Is there a tendency to, when you see a TL, just use the K, clean, clean? Because I, like, there should not be, it's just silent L and it shouldn't, the T doesn't sound like a K, right?
Right. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So, it should be a T, it should be a soft sound like clen and clean. I know that in English, when we say the Tlingit language, we say clinket and it's like a K sound, but that's just what happened over time when people tried to say Tlingit but didn't quite catch on to the sound. And when they're speaking English, they'd say clinket. I still do it when I say Tlingit in English, but if I'm speaking Tlingit, I would say Tlingit. But that's just an L. This is a TL. And even so, it shouldn't become a K. It should be a Tlen. Good question. These are all awesome questions. Are there any more?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait. So I'm gonna make sure this is a slow playback, and I'm gonna play it for you again. I wonder if I should show you guys those verbs. I'm just worried that I want you to catch on to the meaning. So let me see. For people that mentioned you're a little lost on the meanings, I know that I've only gone over the meanings like once per week. So if we need a review, we will. My task for you right now would be watch it and see which words you can pick out, and then we'll have a little discussion afterwards.
I just wanted to add, I found the word for waterfall in Tlingit.
Let's hear it.
X. It's a sharp X AAS.
Okay, Gas.
Can you see it?
I can't see it, but I heard it when you spelled it.
Oh, let me make
Okay,
it
I'm gonna
bigger.
hit play. Carrie, type it in the chat. I'm gonna hit play.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
and
Takatya Singit Anika Yeiti Hin Await Hini Husiti Yesh Alshiach Ya Akusani Kya Hat Hini Takanadai Hinkan Takat.
Okay. So, did you guys catch anything? I see some head nods, some humble head nods. Like I did, but I'm not gonna nod too excitedly. Okay, let's do an exercise where I just show one little line and then as a group, just do your best to translate it into English. So let's go. Sorry, hang on. I'm going to use this other slide because it's better. Okay. Okay, what did that one mean?
Long ago.
Yep, long ago, long ago. And now the next line.
Takatya Singit Anika Yeiti Hin Away.
Okay. Stakatya singit anika yeyati yihin. Any guesses?
Can get land.
Mm-hmm. Tlingitani, the world.
All the world was covered with water.
Yeah, Tlakatya Tlingitani, Kaye Yatihin. So I realize I need to break this down. We'll do it for the next class. But Tlakatya Tlingitani is the whole world. Kaye Yatihin is the water on top of it. And then he'll say, Awa e tlini chusiti. So let's watch him say this now. Oops. Sorry, guys. I need to work on my button pushing.
Aya chak takat yashinget anika yeiti hin awe eight hini husiti. Yesh kwa aushiach ya akusani.
Sorry. I'm so mad. Okay, I'll figure out I'll dial in my button pushing. So chag aya chag takatya singitanika ye yati hin, and then this part. Awe e tlini chusiti. Guys, remember what that means? Hetwasa. Anybody else? E tlini.
Are you hungry?
In the
It
ocean.
has to do with that salt water.
Salt water,
Good.
ocean,
Yeah.
river, creek.
Yeah, salt water. Awe e tlini chusiti. He says it was all salt water. So we had, oh, this button's in my way. Anyway, all the water all over the world. Awe e tlini chusiti was the ocean or was salt water. Yeah. See if I can hit play without starting it all over again.
Yesh kwa aushiach ya akusani kya hini.
So, all over the world, the water was the ocean. And then what do these words mean? Ya kwa outliyech. Or ya kusani.
The raven
Like,
built
the-
Lichéesh.
However, built.
Yep, the raven built it.
Good. Okay, you guys have good memories. Ya kwa outliyech means this raven, however, built it. And then what about ya kusani?
Lake,
The
little lake.
lake, little lake.
Little lakes.
This lake, little lakes. So you guys have really good recall, especially when you work as a group. And I'm happy. Let's do another line.
Sani kya hini takanadai hinken.
Okay, so there's a section missing from just the subtitles, but it should say Kakhatini, this fish stream or salmon river. And then what about this part? Kakanadayi Hintlen.
The big flowing river.
Good, yeah, the big flowing river. So we have long ago. Chag oya chag. Tlakatya lingit ani kaye yati yihin. The water all over the world. Awe e tlini chusiti was salt water. And then Yayesh Ko'autliyech Ya'a. This raven built this lake. Sani, little lakes. Kakhatini and Salmon River. Kakanadayi Hintlink and the big flowing river. So thanks you guys. I'll dial in my button pushing and also bring in translations of each line for review so that it's not too much. I realize we're moving through this fast, So I want to thank you guys for your patience and your courage. Any questions before we go or comments?
Hmm. I have a quick question, Anna.
Yeah.
So the Kudatankahidi part means salmon house, right?
Yeah.
But I'm unfamiliar with I mean, I know Hidi means house, but I'm not sure about the Kudatanka part as how it relates to salmon because, I only know the word fat for salmon. So, sometimes I get a little, uh, stuck on things like that when I've seen a term that I haven't seen before when it relates to something that, yeah. So, yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up. I know very little about this phrase, so I'll show you what it says in our workbook. But I'm still learning about it too, so let me type it in really quick. One second. So here it is in our workbook. Kudatankahidi. Repository, supernatural fish. Repository of all fish. The fish jumping house. A house that was far out to sea, that contained all of the fish, and Raven dragged it to shore with an octopus tentacle came. So in my limited knowledge of the story, all I can say is that it's the name of a specific house that existed way out to sea, and it's part of this story. This is a Lichéesh Adi story, as well as, I think, Tóoch. So I can point you in the right directions to the clans who own the story. But when it comes to the meaning, I'm still learning as well.
Lichéesh. No, that's really great. Very interesting.
Yeah. This story belongs to the Lichéesh Adi, Lichéesh Adi, and Deishitan.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Lichéesh. Okay.
I wonder if supernatural is the same term though too.
I wonder too. We'll have to look into that more as a group.
Very, very timely for the October Halloween season. It's like the ghost, almost like the ghost fish house or something. That's cool.
Interesting.
I like it. Yeah.
You guys all have your Halloween costumes picked out? I'm a T-Rex. Oh, okay, good. I shared my screen. We're out of time, but thank you for coming here, and have a great rest of your day.
Lichéesh, thank you.
Yeah, Suye Kosakin.
Yeah, kwati.
Neelatoga.
Uh-huh.
I was just gonna say that the person that was saying that they kind of get lost in it, I'm kind of I empathize with them. Maybe